Hi and welcome to this new lecture. So what I'll do here is I'll give the final touch to our motion detection program. Specifically, I'll build a plot using the bokeh library where I will visualize the times that the object enters and exits the frame, the video frame. And the final output will look something like this. So what we've got here is a plot with an x-axis, which is plotting the date time, while the y-axis doesn't have any sense actually, so it's just a vertical extension of these bars which you see here. And so what we've got here is let's say I started the camera at this date, so 17th of March, and so this first capture here is, you can see it started at this date and it ended after 4 seconds. So this object entered the frame in the start date and stayed for 4 seconds there and then exited the video frame. So similarly we have this other object, so still on 17th of March, and then we've got this other here, and then here starts the other day, so 18th of March, and these are the hours between these days, so 4 o'clock, 8, 12, 16 and 20. And you can also see that I have added hover capabilities here, so that when I hover the mouse over these bars I get this information. And you can also zoom in here, so if you want more information about this you can see the information clearly here. So that's the product. Now what the script is doing at the moment is it is producing the start time and the end time of the object entering the frame in a CSV file. So specifically the program is triggering the video from a webcam, and then you got some objects in there. Press Q for quitting. And so what you get is this times.csv, where each row represents so the start time and the end time. Okay, you know this already. And so at the moment what we've got here is also a list with the status of the current frame. So this has, let's say, 100 items, so that means we had 100 frames in this 7-second video. Now the first thing you may want to do is a small improvement here very quickly. This list, if you're having a webcam capture a long video, so if you're running it for many hours, this list may get too big. So to avoid memory problems, you may want to go here. So here you're checking the last item of the list and the item before the last item, so the last 2 items. That means we don't need this other items, so we only need to keep 2 last items only. That means just after we append the new status here, so we say status list equals to status list, but with only the last 2 items. So if I execute this now, what I'll get is only the last 2 statuses of the video frame printed out as a list. So the list is printing here. So that's an improvement for the sake of memory. Now how do we get around building a plot with bokeh? So first we have to think about the structure of our scripts. So this plotting object that we'll be creating using a quadrant, so this will expect a data frame to be sent as an input. So we actually have a data frame here. And we are sending that data frame to the times.csv file. What I'll do here is I'll create another file, so a Python script, say plotting.py, and here is where I'll write the script, the code for plotting the data. In that case, that means we need to fetch the data frame of this motion detector program to this script. So what you can do is, you want to say from motion detector import df. So that will make available the df data frame that is being generated in this motion detector program. Which means that when you want to run the program later, you'll be running the plotting.py with Python. And so when you execute plotting.py will call for execution of this motion detector.py script. So the video from the webcam will start, and then when this loop ends, this data frame will be generated. That means after that, the script, the code of the plotting.py will be executed. So here you'll be getting the data frame and plotting it and so on. I hope that is clear. So let's go ahead now and import the plotting interface of Bokeh. So from bokeh.plotting actually will not be importing the entire plotting interface. We only need figure, show and output file. Let's keep it tight there, and then let's go ahead and create the figure object. And x-axis type will be of type datetime. Let's set a height of 100 and a width of 500. And let's make it responsive. Title of the graph, motion graph. Okay. So once we have a figure there, we want to plot a glyph in that figure. And that glyph in this case would be a quadrant, so quad. So a quadrant would be more appropriate to plot these time intervals there. And so the trick to have this quad glyph to visualize your date and your times along this x-axis is to pass left, right, bottom and top parameters. So for left, you'd want to pass the start time, so left of the box of these boxes that you see here. So the left border would be the start time, while the right border, so df, would be the end time. So here is our CSV, which is not what we are using, but this is the structure of the data. So start time on the left, and then end time bordering the right of the rectangle of the quadrant. And then here is a trick we can do for bottom. We would want to keep a fixed value. So 0 for every quadrant and then 1 for every quadrant as well. And that's it. Color is not a problem. Let's say green. And I'd like to try this for now. So output file, that would be graph.html. And show the P figure. And let's see what is going to happen this far. So Python, and we don't want to execute motion detector now, but we want to execute plotting.py. So that's our main script where we get started. And I've got a stupid syntax error here from Bokeh plotting figure. I bet you knew it, that I missed the import keyword here. So from Bokeh plotting import figure, show output file, save and try again. And here is the webcam object. Object again, another time, quit. And let's see what's gonna happen now. And yet another error, responsive Good. Sorry about that. Try again. First object, a second object there, and one more. Quit. And we should see the graph. Yeah, it's looking good. So I can see here, and you can also notice that we've got quite an unnecessary granularity here. So we don't need all these stickers here. And also you can see here that this says 19 seconds, which means that it's 19 seconds past the last minute. So if it was, let's say, 15 minutes and 19 seconds, and so 20 seconds of the 15 minutes and so on. So you don't really see the big picture in just 10 seconds of video. But also, to make it more informative, I would add a hover tool to this bar, so that when I hover the mouse here, as you know, you should see the start and the end time, so that you can see the complete time there, if the labels here are not enough. But first, let's remove these stickers here. So we go back to the script, and let me put this down. And the way to do that would be, we need to modify the figure object, so the p variable. And so we're working on the y-axis, so y-axis. So we access the y-axis object of the figure object, and then minor tick color, and we want to set it to none. So this ticks here. Also, you can see that we also have a grid, so we don't want these intermediate lines here, and we can do that by accessing the grid object, which is list. So you need to access the first item of the list. So there's quite a trick there, but you have to make peace with that. So ticker, say desired number of ticks. So that's the method, and set it to 1. So let's see how the graph will change this time. And it's a good idea to put the graph another name, so that we compare the two graphs. So graph 1 for this, and let's see. Here, yeah, and quit. And I've got an attribute error, minor tick color. I tend to put this wrongly. The good thing is Bokeh has quite a good error handling, so it says similar attributes are minor tick line color. So it's actually able to read what you input there, and it suggests you what to input. So minor tick line color. So we've got a line here. So try again. Let's see this time what we'll get. So now it looks cleaner, as you can see. So here is our previous graph. This is the new one, so we don't have the horizontal grid lines, the ticks in here. And I thought of stopping this lecture at this point, and in the other lecture I'll show you how to add these hover capabilities to your graph. So I'll talk to you in the next lecture.